Hey brothers and sisters, it's Studo Zee. Today I want to share something real with you. The 3 things that I had to learn the hard way in this business. The 3 things that I would have paid insane amounts of money to learn at the beginning of my journey. Why? Because they would have saved me a lot of time and grief. Let's get right to it. The number one thing is I see so many musicians failing to keep the main thing the main thing. Musicians, we have this weird tendency to obsess over all the wrong things. Some of us will spend 3 days fixing the mix of the hi-hat before even having a hook. Folks, I wasted years on this stuff. Good coffee. Now, coffee is one of the main things. So before you start mixing the hi-hat for days at a time, get yourself some good coffee. So I wasted years on the wrong stuff. I spent a ridiculous amount of time hiring a professional designer and sweating over the details of what my business card is going to look like. You know how many people saw that business card? Probably 5, 6. I obsessed over our studio setup. And we had a fancy studio when I was getting started. But guess what? Most of my clients never actually saw this studio. This studio that we spent almost a year building. And don't get me wrong, I did spend time in that studio making music, perfecting my craft. But man, I would have advanced so much faster if I just focused on what moves the needle. And this is the problem in the beginning. Musicians have no seasoned instinct. They have no orientation. They have no killer instinct for moving in our industry, and therefore they think a lot of things are important, but only few things are. And so you end up doing like 15 different things, trying to perfect them all, when I would advise you as a mentor in the beginning of your journey to identify the 3 things that actually move the needle and perfect those, because those are going to give you momentum, the impact, the actual traction that will advance your music career. And a lot of you just don't know, like, what is important, what isn't important, and I don't blame you. I didn't either. And a lot of you might be asking right now, okay, Uncle Z, so what would you advise someone who's at the beginning of their journey? I believe that it comes down to 3 things. The triple C. The triple C in a place to be with Studo Zee. The first C is craft. That is absolutely essential because it doesn't matter what everything else looks like unless your craft is in place, it's solid, more than solid, it's world class. The question to ask is, am I at the point where what's coming out of the speaker is giving other people goosebumps? That's the question to ask, and not, do I have the latest plugins? Number 2, the second C is connections. Are you actually talking to real people, not your friends who are amazed by whatever comes out of your studio, but real industry people who are going to judge your craft based on the needs of the marketplace? Are you having those conversations? And not in that desperate, please hire me, please give me some work kind of way, but as a passionate, committed musician who is brewing magic in their lab. And you intrigue other people and you give them a taste and they sense that something special is coming out of your speakers. And the third C that you should be worried about, and not all the other things, is crack. That's right, crack. How do you like them apples? Folks, I'm not talking about the drug. I'm talking about your ability to crack other people's creative problems. You see, right now, as we speak, there are literally thousands of creative problems in the middle of being solved around the world. There are people right now who are literally searching for the right music for their campaign. Music that will fit their campaign and their budget like a glove. They've gone through the stock music. The stock music is stiff. The stock music doesn't work in certain moments. They tried editing it, but it just doesn't work. Besides the fact that it's not unique to the brand, and brands want to be unique. They don't want to show up wearing the same dress to the ball as another brand. And so, folks, right now, there are literally thousands of problems being solved around the world. And the question is, do you feel competent to be in the room with those creatives and crack their creative challenges. Those are literally the three things that you should worry about and spend most of your time on: craft, perfecting your magic, having conversations and building connections, and three, taking a crack at real problems. Because taking a crack at real problems accelerates your ability to crack bigger and bigger problems. Sure, you might feel lost in the beginning. I sure did. One of my first campaigns was a big pitch for Gatorade, and it was a very ambitious campaign. I was very afraid. I was petrified. But guess what? It actually motivated me to step up, to spend the entire night crafting something that will just nail the brief out of the park. Whether I win or not, I didn't care. All I cared about is that I show up the next morning with the kind of music that's going to give people goosebumps, the kind of music that my immediate client is going to be proud and excited to present to his client. That's really the name of the game. Folks, the more connections you have, the more likely that you'll have a lot of problems to solve in your inbox. They'll come back to you because you helped them crack the problem before. And why did they come to you in the first place? Because they heard something special coming out of your speakers. Your craft impressed them. And why did your craft impress them? Because instead of fiddling with your business cards and your hi-hat, you simply focused on what matters. Getting your best music together in a beautiful, crisp, short showcase, and then showing it to the right people. It's not rocket science. And yet so many of you don't do these things, and you hide away, overthinking everything. Why? Because you are afraid to confront your craft with the marketplace. And unfortunately, if you want to be a craftsperson in our business, actually earning commissions, you're going to have to confront that fear, and you're going to have to eventually go out there and confront the reality of what's coming out of your speakers with the audience that might be willing and able to pay for it. You know, in our mentorship program, this is one of the first things that we help musicians with. Cutting through all the BS and identifying the exact destination toward which they focus their energy. I've seen our mentees accomplish in weeks what it took me years to accomplish because of spinning my wheels and overthinking everything. For us, it's easy, right? Because we have the perspective. We've traveled the path for 20 years. So I can see exactly what the musician is struggling with. And I also know exactly what's happening in the business. They don't know, but I know. And that's the power of a pro ahead of you on the path, pointing you directly to what matters. Folks, the number two thing that actually matters, I want you to write somewhere where you will see it every single day. Being a remarkable craftsperson is not about you. Entering a marketplace and expecting to get paid in exchange for lending your musical talent is not about you. You see, folks, when I was getting started, I've always loved making music, right? But the one brutal truth that hit me hard as soon as I joined this industry as a commissioned craftsperson is that the music that I loved making started to get negative feedback. People were brutal with their feedback. And folks, this is normal, but I didn't realize it at the time. Many musicians in our business fall into this trap. The more gifted they are, the less of a gift they are to work with, especially when it's time for revisions. You see, they are still in this prima donna artist mentality. Like, I get to do what I want. This is my music. And how dare anybody not like my craft? Folks, I've seen this mindset literally kill music careers and the musicians who have this mindset. Why? Because they fail to understand that commercial craft, getting paid to create music that will solve somebody else's problem, is not always going to go your way. As a craftsperson, you are commissioned, paid money to solve a problem for the paying client, and not necessarily to have fun doing it. Now, you might be thinking, what's the fun in that? Why would I turn the thing I hold so near and dear to my heart, music making, into torture just to please someone and make some money? And you know what? It's not for everyone. Maybe you're just not meant to be a commissioned craftsperson. But here's the thing to remember. If you want to be a commissioned craftsperson, it's not about you. You're getting paid to solve a problem. And folks, let's have some perspective. It's only advertising. We're not saving lives. Take a deep breath and relax. Don't take yourself so seriously. It could be a lot worse than getting paid to sit in a studio and do even 50 revisions. To make it a little easier on commissioned craftspeople, this industry is a lot different than any other industry where they pay you to make music. In advertising, projects move very fast. It's not like film where you sit 6 months with a film director. It's not like video games where it might take 2 years for the video game to launch. I would consider that torture. Just imagine being a part of a 2-year project where maybe things aren't going your way. At least in advertising, you know it's all going to be over soon and you're going to get to send an invoice. This doesn't happen in film, video games, or TV. This mindset shift is so critical that we literally devote hours of lessons in our mentorship just to solidify our mentees' understanding of how to develop the craftsperson mindset. When our students send us work, we literally challenge them. We give them the brutal truth about exactly where they're falling short and exactly what they need to do in order to improve their craft. We want to do our best to prepare you to enter the industry and have this feeling like, oh, I've been here before. This is familiar territory. Someone's critiquing my work and it's okay with me because I'm a craftsperson who is resilient, who is patient, and who is open and willing to solve problems until the client is happy. It's not about me, it's about the client. And trust me, it's better to learn this lesson among pros who actually are mentoring you than to be learning it from clients who might never speak to you again after you have a not so nice interaction during the revision process. But the question remains, what's so attractive about trading my talent for money? Why not keep music as something sacred? Why not keep music as something sacred and then have a job to make money a totally different way? And of course, you could do that, but I found that I actually prefer spending most of my precious time in the studio, rather than having to commute to some job that is completely unrelated to my talent, passion, or skill set. You see, I treat ads like my day job. I treat the mentorship of musicians like my day job. And folks, this setup is very powerful because it allows you to spend most of your life in the place that you love most, the studio. The craft keeps you here paying the rent, and the art, the music that you make for music's sake, will keep your soul alive. And let's face it, folks, at the end of the day, you need both to survive. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You gotta feed the family and you gotta feed your soul. Otherwise, both are gonna end up starving. And the number 3 thing I wish somebody taught me a long time ago so I wouldn't have to find out the hard way is don't get comfortable. Usually, your career is gonna start with 1 or 2 people sending you work. And you'll be so obsessed with knocking those projects out of the park that the world around you will cease to exist. You will spend all your time just trying to deliver music that gives you goosebumps and gives your clients goosebumps. And then what happens? Your clients are happy and they might send you more work. And you spend all your time fulfilling those clients. And then you experience, like a lot of freelance musicians, the thing called the feast and famine cycle. Once the jobs are done, you find yourself having to go out there and contact people all over again because your inbox is full of crickets. And let's face it, it's not so easy to just email someone and get another project. And folks, I'm guilty of this more than anyone. We'll literally have like 7 projects come in from the world of brands, and we'll get busy executing them. And these 7 projects will basically amount to my yearly salary, enough to feed my family, enough to pay the bills. So then I happily retreat to my reading den to start reading philosophy and try to figure out the secrets of the universe, my favorite thing to do. And before I know it, months go by and I start feeling the pinch. Because I've been trying to figure out the meaning of life instead of maintaining the essential rhythm. The rhythm of a remarkable craftsperson who continually makes connections, without which, sooner or later, you're gonna experience an inevitable drought. You just cannot count on a handful of contacts to send you work forever. The way you're going to avoid this feast and famine cycle is by continually and daily reaching out to new folks and infecting them with your contagious and enthusiastic passion for creating goosebumps. We put a huge focus on this in our mentorship because I believe that your destiny is really about how you spend your days. And day after day, the things that you do that might seem little to you each day, They compound into your transformation, into your results. This is why so many musicians that we've mentored come back to me and say, your mentorship is not about making music for brands or commercials. It's about how to transform into a remarkable craftsperson. It's so much more than just about making music for money. It's about how to foundationally transform your life and work. I literally get emails like, Tommy, I feel like for the first time in my life, I feel in control of my craft, in control of my cash, not just hoping for the best, but literally designing my day with very simple but powerful actions that ensure that I never run out of opportunities. Even at your busiest, and especially at your busiest, you should have a sacred ritual of reaching out. Just a few people every single day, just saying hello. Of course, your email is going to have an email signature with a link to your portfolio, right? But the cool thing about reaching out, even at a very small scale every single day, especially when you're busy, is that the times when you're busy is the times when you're energized, when you're feeling motivated, when you're feeling confident, strong, you have a sense of momentum. And that's the same energy you're going to use when you're reaching out to these people. That clean, charismatic energy of, hey, I dig your stuff. Here's the cool stuff that I'm doing. Maybe we can do cool stuff together. Let's connect. Instead of, dear potential person, do you have any work for me? And folks, you'd be surprised how many emails like that we get on a daily basis. So brothers and sisters, summing it all up, what did we learn today? We learned that you need good coffee in the studio. We learned that you need to keep the main thing the main thing. Focus on your craft, focus on having conversations, making connections, and focus on getting a crack at the opportunities, at other people's problems that you will gladly help them solve with your musical skills. Don't focus on the hi-hat. Don't focus on overthinking your website, your business card, your studio. Craft conversations, connections, and cracking the problems of people who are able and willing to pay you to crack those problems for them. Number 2, it's not about you. Learn to separate your ego from your work. Being commissioned as a craftsperson is about solving problems. It's not about your self-expression. And number 3, don't get comfortable. Maintain your outreach rhythm, especially when you're busy. The feast and famine cycle is a killer, and I don't want you to experience it, so don't make the same mistake that I did. Now, folks, these 3 things would have saved me years in pain and struggle if someone sat me down at the beginning of my career and explained them to me. Now, folks, if you want more shortcuts, we have a free training below that will give you a proper introduction to our business. It's comprehensive. It's absolutely free. In 1 hour, you're going to be ahead of 99% of the musicians who are going to try to fly solo and try to make all of the same mistakes that have already been made. The truth is, you can absolutely learn all of these lessons on your own like I did. But if you want to skip the painful, expensive part and get straight to building a sustainable music career, start with the free training below. I'm Tommy Zee. This is Studio Zee. And if you enjoyed this video, try this one next.